guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some steamy romance recommendations. A lot of these are going to be ones that would be great to read during Smutathon, which is this weekend. And if you want to know all about that, it is a romance readathon that I'm co-hosting with my best friend Lainey from Ginger Reads Lainey. I will leave a video up above with all of the information, all the challenges, the dates, the live show, everything. But I wanted to put out a video to give you guys some recommendations, some books that I really loved that would be great for Smutathon, or just in general if you're looking for some steamier romance books. So the first two books that I'm going to recommend are by Rebecca Weatherspoon, who is one of my favorite romance authors. The first one is Harbor, which is the third book in her Beards and Bondage series, but you can read it in any order. This book basically follows a woman who finds out that her boyfriend was cheating on her because him and the woman that he was cheating with were in a shooting and they ended up both being murdered. So her and then the woman that her boyfriend was cheating with, two partners, all found out basically that their partners were cheating on them and died. And she ends up like in a polyamorous relationship with the dead girl's two boyfriends. So it is a poly romance and I loved this so much. Rebecca Weatherspoon is just amazing at steamy scenes, but also at giving a lot of emotional depth to the romances, because obviously all these characters are grieving. There's a lot of emotional depth to it, but it's also so steamy. So then the other book by Rebecca Weatherspoon is Zenny, which I actually just read like a week ago. And so this follows a girl who her aunt passes away, and in her aunt's will she left her everything, but there was one like stipulation, and that was that she had to marry this man named Mason who her aunt like chose for her. And this guy is like a really big Scottish man, and so they have to get married, like get fake married, but like real married, but it's fake, in order to get this inheritance. And this book was amazing. This might be my new favorite Rebecca Weatherspoon book, I'm not sure, but it was so good. If you read Rafe, which is another book that I absolutely loved, Zenny was a side character in that, and I just really loved her as a character. And again, this is a book that deals with more like emotional topics, so that's something that Rebecca Weatherspoon like balances really well, is like the steaminess but also the emotional aspect. The next one that I'm going to recommend is actually a Christmas romance, and that is No Room at the Inn by Brooke Winters. So this is about two women who are trapped at this hotel in a snowstorm, and they have a very steamy night together. This one was really good. It's very quick, so if you're looking for a quick sapphic female winter Christmas romance, I definitely recommend this one. Another quicker female romance that I would recommend is Being Hospitable by Mika James. This is about a woman whose best friend's little sister has to move in with her, and so they become roommates, and they also have like an attraction to each other, so they start up a relationship. This one was really short, but so good. Another great Christmassy one is Merry Inkmas by Talia Hibbert, who is my all-time fave, my queen. I think that this was actually the first Talia Hibbert book that I ever read. It's definitely not one of my favorites, but it was still so good. It really put me in the Christmas mood. I think I read it like 3 Christmases ago, but basically, like I said, it takes place over the Christmas time, but it's about this woman who loses her job and then gets offered to be the receptionist at this tattoo parlor, and her boss, who is a tattoo artist and the owner of the place, have a thing, and it's so good. Another really great one is Royally Screwed by Emma Chase. This is a whole like royalty romance series that I'm currently making my way through, but the first book was Royally Screwed, and it's basically about this prince who is about to become king. His grandmother says that he has to get married before he becomes king, and she has like a very specific list of eligible women in mind for him to get married, but then he ends up meeting this waitress, I think she's a waitress, and they fall in love, but it's like a scandal because she's just like a peasant, and they have to try to like figure out a way to be together. And I really enjoyed this. I love royalty romances, and this was definitely one that I was just obsessed with, and like I said, I'm currently making my way through the whole series, and it's so good. And then another royalty romance, this is probably still my top favorite one, and that is A Nordic King by Karina Halley. So this one is about a king who his wife died and he has 2 young daughters, so he hires a nanny, and the main character is a nanny for like very wealthy elite people, and so she gets hired to be the nanny for the 2 princesses, and her and the king just don't get along at all. He's so rude to her. It's definitely like super angsty and just one of the best royalty romances that I read. I also think it takes place over Christmas time and it has a whole winter setting. So then I have 2 boyfriend's dad romances, which is apparently a trope that I love. So the first one is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is about a girl who her and her deadbeat loser boyfriend end up having to move in with his dad. Her boyfriend just sucks. He's literally like trash, loser material, but his dad is amazing. He ends up having a romance with his dad. And then the other one with this trope is Your Dad Will Do by Katie Robert. This one is a lot shorter and a lot less plot. So if you want one that's just like get into business, I would go with Katie Robert, Your Dad Will Do. Or if you want one that's like more slow burn, Birthday Girl, that's where it's at. But Your Dad Will Do is basically revenge. The girl finds out that her fiance is cheating on her, so to get back at him, his dad will do. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So then I have a male-male romance to recommend, and that is The Babysitter by Jack Harbin, who is an author that I love. And this is a very quick novella about this guy who is a babysitter for this couple. He's a writer, and he has this notebook of all these like steamy stories that he's writing, and the main guy in those stories is based on the dad of the kid he babysits, and that dad ends up finding the notebook and realizing that he has inspired all of these steamy stories. And yeah, this one is really good. This was the first book by Jack Harbin that I read, and I just fell in love. It was so good. The next one that I am going to recommend is Hearts in Darkness by Laura Kay, I think is the author, and this one is about 2 strangers who get stuck in an elevator together. That's basically the whole plot. They're stuck in an elevator together. In my review, I compared this to that Dior commercial with Robert Pattinson where he's in an elevator. You guys know the one. You've seen it. It's literally that commercial, but as a book, and it's so good. Then I have to recommend Ice Planet Barbarian by Ruby Dixon, which is an alien romance. You guys remember last year for Smutathon, I read this book and I kind of read it as a joke. I was like, in my head, I went into it thinking I am just going to roast this book and it's gonna be so much fun. And then I ended up loving it and it's so good. Just a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it if you're looking for something different and entertaining. It's essentially about a girl who gets abducted by aliens and she escapes their spaceship in this pod and lands on this frozen ice planet where there's these big giant blue aliens, and one of them decides that she is his mate, and it's really fun. Another really great one is Claimed by Elle Kennedy. This whole series is actually so good. It's a post-apocalyptic dystopian romance series. Basically the world is very like sex positive and like sexually fluid, and it is just so much fun. If you want something that is like equally steamy and then has a lot of plot and action scenes, definitely check out the series. So those are my steamy romance recommendations. Definitely let me know some of your favorite steamy romances down below, and also let me know if you are going to be participating in Smutathon this weekend because I am so excited. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!